Hello class! Today we are going to use shared reading to help us understand how readers think about a text and make meaning. We will be reading the same text 3 times over a period of 3 days. I'll put the text up in just a minute. There's some other things I would like to go over first. But kind of keeping in mind, this is a connection back to the movie clip from Armageddon that we did for our warm-up. Reading with different purposes will help us pull different information from the text and make meaning. In a minute we will begin our lesson. But first I want to go over the virtual turn-in talks we're going to use today and how I want you to conduct those portions of the lesson. I will ask you throughout the lesson to pause the video and work with a partner. As you will see, I have created a discussion board right here in Schoology called Noticings, the New Colossus. That is where I would like for you to post your noticings and kind of capture the main ideas of what you and your partner discuss when you have your turn-in talks. Make sure that both you and your partner's names are included at the beginning of each post. If you have any questions throughout the entire lesson, please raise your hand. If not, you can go ahead and proceed through the video lesson. All right, we're going to go ahead and begin, and I'm going to switch from our Schoology group over to our text that we'll be using, which is this poem. So today we will be working on the skill of previewing, like I mentioned before. Previewing helps the reader set the expectations for the text and set a purpose for reading. We will be using a poem. Poems have many layers of meaning and require us to ponder and inquire as we read them. My expectations for you today, during the previewing portion of shared reading, is to be an active listener and to have eyes on text the entire time. And then when asked to engage in conversation with a partner, you refer back to the text to support your thoughts. Today is the first day of shared reading, and we will be just pointing out our noticings or previewing the text. So first, I like to begin by just kind of scanning over the entire layout of this poem. And I usually begin with who the author is in the title. So here we have Emma Lazarus, written in 1883. She's the author. The title is The New Colossus. And let's just kind of scroll through. I noticed that there are words on both sides of this page. It looks like some of the words on the right side are definitions for some of these underlined and bolded words within the poem over here. The poem is written in, it looks like, 2 stanzas or like 2 paragraphs. Stanzas is a poem term for how authors like to break up poems. And I'm also noticing some other pieces within the poem, some uses of quotation marks and exclamation marks that we'll notice more even when we begin to read. Now that we've kind of scanned it, let's take a moment and maybe look a little bit deeper at what we're seeing here. Let's point out some of these definitions. I see the title, The New Colossus, and over here on this side there's a definition, huge or large, in reference to a large ancient Greek statue of a sun god. Brazen is underlined and bolded. Over here pulled out, shameless. Down here, exiles, individuals banished from their native land. So I'm noticing that there are some words that I might need to have some deeper understanding of, and the author has pulled them out for us and wants to make notice of those. I would like to stop right here and pause for a moment and let you and your partner discuss some other things that you might be noticing within the words of the poem. So take some time, make sure you're compiling those noticings and posting those in Schoology. All right, welcome back. At this point, I would like to go ahead and read the poem out loud in its entirety. I would like for you to actively listen as I'm reading aloud, and I'm going to make notices as I read along. I will stop after the first stanza and the second. Remember those? That's how the poem has been broken up. So if you'll follow along with me with your eyes on the text. Again, the poem is written by Emma Lazarus in 1883, titled The New Colossus. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at her sea-washed sunset fate shall stand, a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome, her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. So again, I'm noticing some other things in here. I'm noticing the use of punctuation, some commas, some semicolons. So here's some semicolons here. I'm noticing that my mind is starting to think and question as we're reading this. So those are just some things I'm pointing out to myself. Let's go ahead and continue to read the second stanza. Keep ancient lands your story pomp, cries she, with lips, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless tempest tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. So now I'm noticing even some quotations like this one here. Keep ancient lands your story pomp, cries she. Here's another one. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless tempest tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. I'm wondering why the author has chosen to put those into quotation marks. What is this telling me? Is this a conversation? Is this a dialogue? So I'm having some questions starting to ponder up as I'm reading this. Some of my noticings are starting to turn to that kind of thinking. I'm also seeing some other words out here, like garbage and violent windstorms. So I want to go ahead and stop at this point and let you make some more noticings with your partner based off of what you've heard and what you've seen as you've read along with me. So pause the video, capture those noticings, and put them into Schoology for me, and then come back. Great, welcome back. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up some of my expectations for this lesson today and what I have learned so far and what I expect to learn even tomorrow and the third day. So I expect to learn how the author uses poetic structures, the layout of the poem, and why it's used that way, word choice and punctuation that the author has chosen to use to help the reader make meaning of the text. I would also expect to make connections to my own prior knowledge of the events taking place at this time in history, and that will help me make meaning of the author's purpose. Tomorrow we will begin to look at visualizing when we read a poem and how that helps us understand the author's purpose and make some more meaning. I would like for you to think about, what did you already know and what was new for you today? And what do you know about poems that will help you make meaning? What do you expect to learn in the future? So take some time to think about that, talk with your partner, and post those in Schoology. I would also like to go ahead and close today, keeping in mind that this is our last piece that I would like for you to capture together and post as your closing piece for previewing. I would like for you to discuss, how did the skill of previewing this text or this poem help you understand the author's meaning or author's purpose? Go ahead and post those in Schoology as well. And thank you again for participating today.